I always feel like saying, come on, come on, come on. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or whatever time it is for you. I am so grateful you are here. I always feel like saying, come on, come on, come on. Oh, I've got to, let's see. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or, oh goodness. I don't know what I just did, but I'm going to try it again. Okay, let's try this one more time. We want to live stream. We are live streaming. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Okay, so let's record. That is always helpful. Well, hello, my name's Lori Raupe, and I am with Your Message Matters. Because it does, of course, if you're writing a book, especially nonfiction, this show is for you. And today I am so excited about delving into a topic that is, I guess, one of my bigger frustrations. I don't know if you've had a lot of calls lately, especially I get them on my cell phone. They are scammers and they are trying to sell something. Now, this can be a lot of different things, but if you're an author, or by chance, if you're writing a book and you've mentioned it on social media, or if you have books on Amazon already, you could fall prey to some of these scams that are, wow, it seems like they're everywhere. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about those red flag calls, what we can do about them. Well, actually, we're not going to talk about what you can do about them because I don't know if there is anything you can do about them, but how can we identify them and know that it's probably not something that we want to put money into? So, I have been in business many, many years. In fact, I would venture to say, with the exception of the time that I worked for the government in the Department of Corrections, I have been self-employed. I have had a few jobs, but mostly I have worked independently on my own. So this gives me a lot of experience from people calling my business, asking me if I needed certain things. We call those cold calls. Or more recently, we get them on our cell phone, don't we? And now it's kind of fun that most cell phones will identify them as a scam call. That is pretty funny. Now, so far, I don't know if I've gotten any calls that were not scams that I thought were because they were identified as such. But for the most part, I think we can probably believe when it says it's a scam call, it probably is. So now and then I do pick up those calls because I don't realize what it is, or maybe I'm in my car. I do get calls in my car because I have the hands-free feeding through the car system. And every once in a while, I have ended up talking to somebody who calls, and usually that call starts out with a lot of flattery. Oh, we've seen your book. It has great potential, and we have chosen you as being a person that we want to support, and we have some things that will help you get an even broader audience, and blah, blah, blah. And it always sounds so amazing. So, are they real? I've gotten a few of my authors who have received these calls as well, and they call me and say, Lori, somebody called me and they want to highlight me in some way, or they want to put me in bookstores in some country. Or I've even had this one, in fact, they were very persistent, even when I said I wasn't interested. They wanted me to be a part of some big book, something convention somewhere, and they were going to highlight my book. Well, first of all, I guess when you get these kinds of calls, it kind of hits your ego, doesn't it? It kind of makes you feel a little good. I was chosen. Well, it is nice, and you are worthy of every kind of attention that's available to you. But there's a big but there. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So let's talk a little bit about how can we identify legitimate type things versus these what I'll call scams. And I don't know if scams is the right word to use, but let's just say they're less um, they're disingenuous. They're not really doing what they say they're going to do. So how can we tell? What do we what practices can we put into place besides just not answering any calls that say that they're scam calls? I guess that's a good practice. Lately, I've been trying to block some, but you may have had this experience too. There's just so many numbers that they use. You could be blocking things all day long. I know I probably get in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 scam calls a day. That's a lot of calls that I don't need to be wasting my time. Um, Anyway, so I have talked to a few of these people and asked them more information because I really wanted to know what they're all about. Do they offer a good service? Is this a service maybe I should offer or tell people about? Maybe I could be an affiliate for them. I want to know more information. And so I ask questions. So the very first thing you can do when you get a call like this is ask some very pointed questions. I think when we get a call like this and they're sneaky, they kind of say the right things at the right time and they answer things in such a special way that it really makes you think this is legit. And I think we all have a dream of seeing our book in readers' hands, people that we've never met before. I mean, your book needs to go beyond your friends and family, doesn't it? Right? I mean, you can do so much to get your book out there. You can run ads, you can do all of these different things. But it is flattering to think, wow, maybe my book has been chosen for this thing or something else that might really work for me. But they are preying on your hopes and dreams. They're selling you something, and honestly, most likely you're just going to be disappointed and you're going to have spent money unwisely. Well, if you don't know me yet, my name is Lori Raupe, and I am the founder of the Butterfly Publishing Company. We help people with generally nonfiction books, and we do that three ways. I work with authors one-to-one, walking them through the entire process from idea or conception all the way to publication and promotion. I also do consultant work. Sometimes people will reach out to me and all they want is a book launch. And so we have conversations about that. What does it take to launch your book? How can we launch it? There's other parts of the process that people hire me to do. Sometimes they just want me to read their book and give them some ideas of how they could make it better. And I also have a new, or I should say, a revamped membership group, which is called the Book Course Membership. And this too walks you through, and it is a do it with you, sort of a do it yourself, but with guidance type group. And I would love for you to be a part of it. So, what can we do about these people that are preying on us, that are tapping into this desire that we have to get our book into the hands of readers that we know it will make an impact? I think the first thing you can ask is, have you read my book? Now, they may say a lot of different things. They may say, yes, they have. They may say, no, they haven't. They may say somebody else has and gave them your book as a reference to give you a call. But these are sales calls. Their job is to get you to say yes to another call and get your money. Or their job is to get your money and then get you on to the next person. And generally speaking, the cost is going to be very low, and they're going to talk you into something even with a greater expenditure. These Offers always start out with a lot of flattery. Your book has so much potential, but they don't really give you any specifics because they don't have them. They really don't know that much about your book. They know the title, and they generally have seen it on Amazon or some other book type platform, and they're looking for books that have underperformed so they can really tap into your desire to get your book into more hands. Real marketing professionals, they don't cold call you. They come with references, and you are generally looking for them, and you have found them in a website. Now, these calls are going to be different because you have initiated them. Now, you still can fall prey to things, but at least you've done your research, hopefully, to look into these businesses to see if they are really legitimate. You know, professionals don't need to prey on unsuspecting souls. They don't have to give you a whole lot of flattery, although I'm sure they will when they read your book. If it hits them, if it feels good to them, they are definitely going to want to be interested in working with you. So often these scam type calls have hidden costs, and they are in the business of upselling you to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next. And oftentimes you'll see these in social media, or like I say, you'll get them on your cell phone, and they have big promises. We will give you exposure to thousands of readers. But the thing of it is, if they don't really know your book or what your ideal reader is, how do you know if those thousands of readers that they're going to expose you to, if they are really thousands of readers, how do you know that these are your best readers? They don't know. And it's important for you to know so that you can find out more about their audience. And you can ask questions like, well, tell me about your promotional programs and what kind of readers do you solicit to? I mean, what are they looking for? Not every reader is the same. They all have their favorite things, right? I mean, if you wanted me to be on a list for fictional books, unless it was very specific, which might be the ones that I may read, in general, I'm not going to be interested. If you put me on the list of sci-fi readers, I would not care less. I mean, I'm not ever going to pick up a sci-fi book. I can guarantee you it's not my jam at all. So what kind of readers are these readers, and where did they get them? Are they really just fictional people? This is true on Facebook too, or other social media. There are now bots that can sound really real, and you don't even know if you're talking to a real life person or if you've gotten some type of a message from a bot that they are seeking you out. They do a lot of promises like, oh, well, we can give you press releases and paid medium and in our premium packages that cost hundreds or sometimes even thousands of dollars. They don't normally deliver anything. And you, my friend, can write your own press release and send it to people who, if you know the right websites and know those outlets looking for beautiful stories and press releases of especially local papers, and they are interested in local authors, it's very easy to do that. But will it get you results? That's what I always want to know. What's the bottom line? Will it get me results? And what does results look like to me? Is that more readers of any sort? Is that people who will buy my book? Because that's a whole nother gig that people do where they set your book up on a free day, which there's nothing wrong with using these various promotions. But downloads on a free day, you probably can figure this out for yourself, is not going to give you money because it's a free day. And so if your book is going into the hands of people for free, your book will get attention, but not necessarily paid readers. So you need to really be careful with some of these offers that people get. The promises are usually too good to be true. Be wary of anything like that, because if it sounds too good to be true, here's the spoiler alert. It probably is. If someone guarantees your book certain things, ask them, how do they make that happen? I mean, there's a lot of us that can promise that your book becomes a bestseller. This is merely an algorithm looking at the right categories, and I do emphasize the right categories because some of these people will put your book in some obscure category that isn't even related to your book. That is not what you want. You want to get eyes on your book in the right categories with the right keywords into the right hands of your perfect fit clients and readers. So these are red flags. These are people who are not really reputable marketers. I've even seen some people like, I'm not going to give names, but there is one outlet, I tried it myself just to kind of get an idea. They promised to post about my book in their group of thousands of people. And I watched very carefully to see if there were any results. Yes, they posted my book in their group. They sent me screenshots of what it looked like, and I went and saw it there myself. I know they posted about my book, but it was the wrong audience for my book. I looked to see if any book sales happened as a result, and zero. So it was wasted money. You really need to know more about an audience. In that case, it was a very simple website saying exactly what they do for you. They post your book in their group of thousands of people who are readers. They don't say what kind, with very little information. And you can throw money at, I think it was one amount for one social media platform and more money for several platforms, all related to these readers who were going to be buying your book. And I paid for 3 social media platforms just to see what would happen. And again, no book sales, probably because my book wasn't the kind of book that they were looking for. I don't know if I could stress this any greater. You need to know who your book is for, and you need to know where those people are. And if somebody is promising you to do something, yes, they may actually do things like post your book in a certain group. They may do that, but it won't help you at all if it's not the right group. There also now is a whole lot of fakeness going on in social media. There are bots and AIs and AI tools that can really seem lifelike. But look a little closer. Do the comments seem sort of generic or even borderline spammy? Do they say things like, great, nice post, oh, get this book, or something that just isn't even specific to your book? Then these things, or the book that they're promoting, these things are probably red flags and will tell you that they in turn really are not going to help you any. They may do what they say they're going to do and charge you for it, but it may not result in anything that's going to help you along the way. A real audience will have meaningful interactions with you, with real comments. The people that do the likes and shares are going to be real people, not somebody from another country that's maybe not even English speaking. You know, you've got to really use your due diligence, or your book sales will sound like crickets. So just move on. I would not accept anybody these days that is calling me But if I want to have my book marketed, well, that's a whole different story. There are many people that I know that specifically work on specific kinds of books to help you. Recently, I was talking to an author, and she has an incredible book that I really love, and I am so hoping that she will hire me to go through the process with her. But even if she doesn't, I love helping people, so I like to give good advice. And one of the other people, she had been reaching out to certain places, and she talked to several different people about what they do. And what I discovered in my phone call conversation with her is I'm probably one of the best bargains out there. One of the groups that she was talking to, they charge $42,000. And with that, they still don't guarantee that your book will be a best-selling book on the New York Times best-selling list, which is actually what she was interested in. So they charge a lot of money to do a lot of things, and it still has no guarantee. Well, that's kind of a good thing to me. That means that they're probably legitimate, that they're not guaranteeing success. But it kind of freaks me out a little bit that $42,000 doesn't get you closer if that's your dream to be on the New York Times bestseller list. You will notice these people too because they don't seem to have a track record and they don't seem to have real testimonials. Real outlets, real people can connect you with real clients that have worked with them who are willing to say, sure, I'll talk to your potential clients and let them know, or I've done a video for you to tell your potential clients what it was like to work for you. So most legitimate book promoters will not contact you out of the blue. Their costs are going to be very clear if they're legit. Or are they trying to upsell you with the next thing, the next thing, and the next thing? Are their promises realistic? Do they tell you the truth? Or do they sound too good to be true? Does their social media presence seem authentic? This is huge. Can they prove their track record with real testimonies or real results? These are the things that you want to consider when you're looking at book marketing and paying somebody to help you. So, what could you really do to get results? Well, I've written down just a couple things. I'm not going to go into them really deep on this show, but these are the things to really consider. When you're looking at ways to promote your book, you can do it effectively yourself. But remember, you are building relationships and not transactions. You want to build great relationships with people who love your niche, who are influencers in your niche. Maybe they do blogging or vlogging. Maybe they're a podcaster and they love what you do, and you probably love what they do. How can you connect what you do and they do to influence and give value to an audience? These are the things that you want to look at when you are doing your own promoting. Leverage not only your email list, and you should be building an email list the minute you start writing your book and you know your topic. You should be giving hints of that in your social media and inviting people to be on your support team. It's very easy to set up, and I highly recommend you do it. But not only using your email list, but see who you have in your network of people that would also share what you're doing with their email list. I always call this Who Luck. It's WHO, Who Luck. John Maxwell is the one I heard this from originally. He said, Who Luck is, who do you know that I should know? These are how we make connections with people. You want to leverage your relationships and use a little Who Luck. So I love that concept, and I think it's an amazing question to ask people. Who do you know that I should know? Well, let me ask you a question really fast. Who do you know that either should write a book or is writing a book that's nonfiction that might be somebody that I could help? Boy, if you gave me that referral, I certainly will be so excited. And I also give a referral fee. So don't forget about that. That's for sure. Make sure you let me know who you're giving my name to so that I can follow up, but also reward you for that excellent referral. Another way that you can promote your book is show up where your readers are. You know where they're hanging out because you're probably hanging out there too. Most of us are best positioned to help those that we once were. So that person that we once were is hanging out in certain places. So where have you been hanging out? Now, you want to make sure that if you're in somebody's Facebook group, that you ask if it's okay if you talk about what you're doing, your book, and things like that. You don't want to get into trouble right away with somebody's group by promoting something that they don't want you to promote. So make sure you understand the rules of the group. Reach out to the admins and say, hey, I'd really like to share what I'm doing with the people in this group. Is that okay? I don't subscribe to the whole idea of go ahead and do it and ask permission later. This used to be one of those government things that people talked about is just go ahead and do it and ask permission later. Or if it's not documented, it never happened. You know, those kind of things are honestly, they're just disingenuous. I've never subscribed into those kinds of philosophies. So, what other kinds of things could you do? Well, when you go into these various groups or you meet various people, do what I call is cross-pollinating. Say if you post something on your Facebook page and somebody makes a comment, go to their page and comment on some of the things that they are doing. This is genuinely, not disingenuinely, but genuinely make authentic comments. This is something that you have to do from your heart, not just because it's a duty of some sort or you think it's going to work for you. Do these kinds of things with a genuine interest in people, and you truly will help your book take flight, which is what we love at the Butterfly Publishing Company. I hope that you've gotten value out of today's show. And today we are streaming into YouTube. And for those that follow me on YouTube, make sure that you come and visit us on the Win-Win Women platform. Not only are there like a bazillion different shows on that platform, but you will also find me. And when you do, and you show up live for this show, you can talk and ask questions, and I hope you will join me there. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I love it when you show up live and we have really spirited conversations about a lot of different things, not just books. But it is a joy to bring this show to you each week, and I truly appreciate you. You have been so good to me, and I am so grateful. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully I will see you next week.